Well, hey, it's been a little while, but I just wanted to reach out and say I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving and a great weekend. It's always a good time to get family together and just kind of get our brains wrapped around the holidays. I mean, Christmas is going to be here before we know it. Kind of hard to believe, just as crazy and as fast as this fall has been, but it actually seems like every year just gets faster and faster. But just wanted to take a minute. This is a video I didn't really plan on doing, but I feel like I need to do it. I feel like there's a lot of people that even if there's one person that can benefit from it, I feel like it's worth doing. It's nothing to be embarrassed about, nothing to be ashamed about. It's just a fact of life. And with that being said, I've got prostate cancer, and that C word is definitely a scary thing. But at the same time, if I'm going to get cancer, like a lot of us are going to, I guess ultimately, I'll take it because, with prostate cancer, it's for the most part, if it's caught soon enough, it's treatable, curable, and we're going to hope and pray that's what happens with me, So, I figured I'd take a second, just kind of walk you through it just so you could kind of know. And I'm telling this just so maybe people can hear my story and benefit from it, and maybe make sure you go do those physicals. I'm the type that I'd say 75% of the time I'm, kind of take it seriously and try to get in for my physicals, but not always. And it's just kind of interesting now that it's December and how long it's taken to get to this point, especially with fishing season right around the corner. So here it is. Here's the story of how we've got to this point. So, I think most people, for the most part, are supposed to go in at least once a year per doctor's request to get a physical, and, turned 52 in July, 1st of July. And I think it was right before we went to our last event up at St. Lawrence River, went in for the usual physical and all the fun stuff that happens as a physical. And there was really nothing really alarming, but I think when we were headed up to New York, got a call or an email from the doctor that wanted to put me on some antibiotics because my PSA levels were just slightly elevated. Not to get into the details, but he didn't ever have any indications any other way, if you know what I mean. So
the PSA levels are supposed to be 4 and below for men.
Yeah, so Bobby's going to be in the background narrating because she knows way more about prostate cancer than I probably ever will, nor do I want to know. But that's who she is, and gosh, I owe her a huge thanks for everything she's done. But so they were.
It's supposed to be 4 and below, and yours came back at 5.6.
So your PSA levels are supposed to be 4 or below. Mine came back at a 5.6, which to us didn't really sound like that much, and I don't even think at the time our doctor was that concerned about it, because he just said, "I want to put you on a round of antibiotics, see if it's an infection, and then we'll check back." In a few weeks when you get back. And that's what he did, and went back, did another blood test, and the levels were still high. So that prompted the MRI, right? Yes, the MRI. Sorry, it's been kind of
This all started in July.
It started in July, so keeping track of all of it's been pretty crazy. So the elevated PSA levels, went in for an MRI, and that's a fun little process. And then that's a couple week process before you hear back from the doctor. They found some, what was it? A nodule or something on my prostate, which prompted, I want to send you to a urologist. So that takes a while to get into the urologist. And this was right before I headed to China and Japan that I went in to meet with the urologist. And the urologist decided he wanted, from what he was seeing from the MRI, he wanted me to do a biopsy. So the biopsy was late October?
I guess.
I think it was late October after China, Japan, and Texas. I went in for this biopsy deal, which it was an interesting little process. And
tell them what they do with the biopsy for your prostate.
I don't even what
it's like.
So they basically make a grid out of your prostate, and they do 12 different little samplings with some kind of little robot. And instead of doing stage 1, stage 2, whatever stages of cancer, I guess with prostate cancer, it's called a Gleason score. And my Gleason score was a help me.
7.
A 7, but it's a what? A
3 plus 4.
A 3 plus 4, which is better than a 4 plus 3 or something like that.
So that's what makes it so different is the prostate has a Gleason score, which is a totally different way of knowing exactly how advanced or aggressive the cancer is.
Yeah,
so we had to do a lot of research.
So yeah, you can tell somebody did a lot more research than somebody else. But so it was a Gleason score of 7, which sounds a little frightening, but at the same time, we weren't overly alarmed. And kind of what was funny is, we do this. Well, so my urologist, he's got a very, very strong Russian or Ukrainian accent. And it was one of these deals where we're kind of waiting to hear from him, but we're still living life. I'm hunting every day, and I'm driving home from the farm at like 7:30 at night, driving in traffic. It's hard to hear anyway when you're driving, and I've got him on speakerphone, and he's proceeding to start telling me all this stuff that he'd found, and I'm kind of focused on driving, and all I hear is cancer and hear some basic numbers, and go home and tell this to Bobby. Well, she didn't like that type of me relaying the message and all that, but then that's what prompted the next level of it, which I think a week or so later, we finally got into the urologist, came up with let him describe it to us, and kind of, it's not horrible, but it's not great. And, here I am trying to, still focus on the important part for me, obviously, is being with my family and sticking around for my family, but also I have the bills to pay, and that means by being out there on the water and competing. And so I'm just trying to play it out in my head. Bobby did a lot of homework, start talking to people that have had similar experiences. And, from what the urologist recommended, he highly recommended prostate removal. And what's that called?
Prostectomy.
Prostectomy. So,
now you need to explain the reason, because someone's going to pipe in.
So there's a lot of different reasons and all this, and we had to weigh the different options, but it's why we believe it's the best for us, because there's different types of radiation you can use. My dad actually had prostate cancer, and that's what he was fixed, was with radiation. But there's a lot of different options there. But the options there, one is if at 52. They expect me to hopefully live, I guess, into my 70s, or hopefully even longer. But if I were to do radiation, I could be having side effects from that in my 60s or early 70s. So they didn't really like that. And I guess if you hit it with radiation, it doesn't fix it, then they can't really go back and do it again. So, with that being said, if you're in your 60s, it's better to go the radiation route, because it's, quite a while before you might have...
Can we back up and say we're not doctors?
Yes. We're not doctors by any means. This is just
your experience.
This is my experience, and with us consulting with our doctor and people that we've talked to, this is what what I'm going to go with. And so we got multiple opinions. But we've got multiple opinions, and I'm sure we're going to get all kinds of opinions on this. And hey, the main thing is if you find out and get it treated and hopefully cured is the main thing. So I could do radiation, but that's not the best option. The prostectomy seems like the best way to go, but I thought it'd be just a simple little procedure, and hopefully it's going to be. But we start our season in 8 weeks now, 7 weeks. What a great year to have MLF start at the end of January. But hey, that is what it is. But that's what I told the doctor. I'm like, if I miss a tournament, I'm out of a job, and I can't afford to miss a tournament. So I asked him about delaying it until we had some windows. I think there's a brief window in March because I didn't make Red Crest, or waiting until July around ICAST timeframe, or even waiting till after the season in August. And he said the problem if you wait, being that you're at a Gleason score of 7, if you go to a Gleason score of 8, that means it could leave your prostate, spread outside the prostate, and then get into your lymph nodes and your bones. And obviously I don't want to do that. Bobby wouldn't allow me to do that, which is probably the smartest thing. So now
they think it's contained in your prostate. Yeah,
right now they think and believe it's contained in my prostate. But so with that being said, I am basically scheduled to have a prostatectomy December 19th. However, if they have a cancellation between now and then on Tuesdays or Thursdays, I may be going in to get this done sooner. So here I am. I'm frantically trying to get my deer season over with and get ready for next year and have a prostatectomy. But with that being said, I've talked to enough people that have had it done or a few years down the road that it's not as bad as it sounds, but still for me, it's 2 days in the hospital, then 2 weeks bed rest, which or basically sitting, as Bobby likes to say, sitting around watching Christmas movies with Bobby. So as you can imagine, I'm probably going to go crazy. To me, taking it easy would be sitting in a blind with a rifle in my hand, maybe not necessarily up in a tree stand with a bow. So we'll just have to gauge that and see what that means.
6 to 8 weeks of light
and then
rebuilding.
6 to 8 weeks of kind of light activity, rebuilding and all that. So that means we're right at the beginning of our season. So with that being said, yes, I'll be ready without a doubt. It's amazing. We always stress out this time of year, and this is definitely an added little curveball. But ultimately, it's I got to remember what it is, what it's all about this time of year. It's Christmas and the holidays, and remembering what Christmas is all about, and being with family, and the rest of it all takes care of itself. So there it is. That's what's going on in the Chapman world. And like I said, I'm not doing this for sympathy by any means. It's just especially knowing most of my fans, if you're on the fence for doing a physical or doing...
You felt fine.
Yeah, because I feel fine. I still feel fine to this day. And I think that's probably the hardest thing I've had to deal with, is the fact of we're going to go do this to my body and put myself through these different healing issues when I feel fine. But I guess that's kind of the scary little thing about cancer is when it sneaks up and gets you, by then it could be too late. So we're gonna trust the doctors on this and go along with this process. But even with that, I've got some of my buddies out there, and you know who you are if you're listening to me. There's a lot of different issues that us guys, but ladies, whoever, do those physicals and take care of that routine maintenance. Do your checkups for the things, especially if it's hereditary in your family history. My dad had prostate cancer. They said if your family, if your mother has had breast cancer, which my mom had breast cancer, it tends to be hereditary. So definitely got my guard up there. Guess what, Mason's going to be watching his stuff early, just because we know of this. So, with that being said, if you're due for a physical, get to the doctor and get it done. Like I said, not the video I was planning on doing, but with that being said, there it is. On that note, remember what it's all about, and that's spending time with your family. So I want to go get fixed and healthy so I can spend more time, be here for wonderful wife Bobby and the rest of my family, the kids, and hopefully live a long life before we have to worry about some other issue. But with that being said, yeah, it's an interesting little time, and thanks for checking this. And like I said, go get that physical, or tell your loved one and be insistent on those loved ones going and getting those physicals as well. So y'all have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that stuff, and we'll be seeing you soon. Take care.